Hey, champs! I am thrilled to highlight one of our sponsors this month, the Sales Arms. Chris has been on our podcast a few times with my good friend and fellow consultant, Stephanie Bradley, and the Sales Arms are truly a game changer when it comes to handling sales outreach and retention for yoga studios and fitness studios. You may have heard our episode with Martine, owner of the home studio, on the show. She credits the Sales Arms for doing all the client outreach and monitoring every step of her customer journey. Listen to her in her own words.
What is so great with working with them is that they basically are in contact with everybody that comes into my studio and that's new, and they'll send them a text message and they'll get them engaged until they get people to come back in. That was the part where I was looking for help, and I was like, I need to upload something, and it's just a lot of time and effort that goes into this, and they are personal, so it's an actual person behind a text message, and it's not something that is automated. And that was important to me. What percentage of new person comes back in 30 days? And so mine was 15 and 20% prior to doing this, and now it's been up to 35 to 40%.
With Chris and the Sales Arms team in Martine's corner, she was able to focus on what she does best, and that's running her studio. So if you're looking to boost your studio membership without getting bogged down in sales calls and follow-ups, which I call with my clients daily detective work, and you have somebody else do the heavy lifting for you, go to yogabizchamp.link/TSA. So with our Yoga Biz Champ exclusive link, you get a direct booking with Chris, the owner, to have a chat. So again, that link is yogabizchamp.link/TSA. Hey champs, welcome back to another episode of Yoga Biz Champ. I'm Michael J, and today we're diving deep into a topic that every studio owner needs to pay attention to, and that's online discoverability. Let me ask you, if someone Googles your studio right now, do they actually find you? Do your reviews reflect the experience you want to be known for? I'm joined by Tyler Valencia, fitness educator, tech nerd, and founder of kipsonline.org. Tyler's not from the yoga world. He comes from personal training and fitness education. But this conversation is all about the tools, systems, and small actions every yoga studio owner can use to show up more confidently online. We talk reviews, SEO, that's search engine optimization, think Google, Google's listings, automations, and how to stop ignoring free tools that literally put your studio on the map. This episode is practical, actionable, and perfect for that studio owner who knows that they've been a little bit invisible lately, but are ready to fix that. Let's get into it. Welcome, Tyler, to Yoga Biz Champ. Nice to have you here today.
Thank you for having me on.
We have totally different worlds. You are in the personal fitness training world, and I am in the yoga studio world, but we've kind of become fast podcast friends, and we've been geeking out talking. I was on your podcast, and we have a lot of things in common. And I really liked the fact that you wanted to talk about something today, which is about review sites and discoverability, which I think any fitness, yogapreneur, yoga studio, anybody can kind of learn from. So thanks for being here today. Can you tell me kind of what's your journey and what brings you to this moment now? You have a podcast, you've got an online business. Yeah, tell us more.
Yeah, I'm happy to. And I have to say that the topic for today, it all is intertwined with my journey in the fitness industry. When I think about how many years I've been doing this, whether it's fitness education or being a personal trainer, and the number in my head, I remember I had to double check this a few years back. I feel like for multiple years I was saying, I've been in the industry for 15 years. And then when I went back to check, I was like, oh my goodness. It's actually been 18 years. And
a senior.
With it, I started off a personal trainer, young personal trainer, very lucky to have gotten the opportunity to work at a higher end gym. I used to live in Southern California. And this was before I started my undergraduate, and I got all my education in the exercise science realm. But what really changed my path forward was when I was working on my undergraduate degree, there was a email sent out from the head of the department, and it was about an internship opportunity for a fitness education company. And I was like, ooh, this sounds fascinating. And that's one of the sides of the industry that you don't really hear too much about, the education side of it. And I'm actually surprised that I was the only person that responded to this email out of everybody that was in the degree program, because it changed my life. I started off as an intern for this company called Nesta. And after I graduated, I was offered a full-time position, which really changed my life. And so I was working at Nesta right out of college. And I also started my own fitness boot camp too, which also, I will say, changed my life because I got that taste of entrepreneurship.
Right. I can promote this, sell it.
Yeah. And I started to get those skills that we're going to talk about a lot of those today, where as a owner, bootcamp owner, I had to learn how to set up the review platforms. I invested my time into building my first website, which if I think back to what it looked like back then, I'm like, oh my goodness, embarrassing. But all those skills of running your own business, and it really taught me, okay, I do like this. So after 4 years of working at Nest, I got offered an executive position at a different education company called NCCPT. And that was really a great step for managerial purposes, that I was 27 and being one of the vice presidents of the company and having to manage people. That experience was just tremendous for me at that stage of my career. And after a bit, about half a year, my girlfriend, my fiance at the time, she's my wife now, but we had a conversation, and she knew that I always had that passion for entrepreneurship. I liked being my own boss. I liked that pressure on me, that type of wake up and put in the hard work for it. And she said, you know what, this is the perfect time. At the time, we didn't have any kids, and we didn't have the responsibilities as someone that maybe has a growing family. So I did it. I left that position. I started KIPS. This was back in 2016. And since then, I've been making fitness education. During the pandemic, I was late to the online workout game. And I had a bunch of people asking me questions. So, hey, Tyler, what do you think about this microphone? What do you think about this camera? And that's a lot of the fitness instructors that I know, they know me for the tech side. They know that I like cameras. I like microphones. Those are things that we talk about offline.
Yeah, I was at the forefront. Like, I was ready. I had the microphones. I had the professional lighting. I had the Zoom account. It's like, boom, let's go.
Yeah.
And I was doing videos on YouTube of my home tech setup for streaming.
Yeah, I was late to it. I didn't think that I could put out something very different or unique. And so I didn't start it till September, I think, of 2020. And when I did, I restarted the company that was my old boot camp called Time to Train. And what is now is so different. When I restarted it, we were doing online workouts, streaming. They looked great, sounded great. We were doing them through Vimeo, and the quality was just really great. But over the last few years, it's turned into just a YouTube-based company where we all have our individual brands. So I have my own workout channel, Tyler Valencia Fitness.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which I think I'm at 7,500 subscribers, and it's growing, and
That's no small feat.
I will say that I've learned a lot over the last few years of it, but very lucky that each day that I wake up, I get to do that entrepreneurial stuff that we'll dive into throughout this episode and share those insights into the admin, the business side of it, that hopefully will really help with the individuals that are listening to this podcast. I really hope that somebody, anybody, just one person, if they can walk away and I help them in one small way, I'll be super happy.
So most of your business is online training?
Yeah. Mostly online. I'm looking to do more in person because I think it's part of the evolution of our industry, to be honest, that I think that when you're building your audience over the next 5-10 years, I think a mix and this is just me sharing my insights of what I think it's going to be a great way to benefit both in person and online. I think there has to be some piece of that.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't taught for over a year, and I've been thinking about it. It's a piece missing, right?
Yeah, it's the same.
And also, because I was teaching online, I was able to help other people teach online too, which
Yeah.
is it's not the same as in person. It's a different way of looking at people.
Yeah.
That's great. Let's talk about reviews. So online reviews for attracting new students to anything, really. I mean, it's like review sites to whether you've got an online business, whether you've got an in-person business. People read the review sites. So I'd love to kind of just throw it over to you or your thoughts on how important review sites are.
Yeah. I mean, almost in probably every single certification out there, whether it's entry level for a personal trainer or for a yoga instructor, there's probably a section in there about word of mouth. Once you get started, you're going to hear people say, oh, what are some great strategies? What should I really focus on? Oh, word of mouth is always going to be one of those things brought up.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, reviews are digital word of mouth.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it.
For people that are actively searching to purchase something, sessions, whether it's personal training or yoga sessions, they're actively searching for these things. So it's a very green audience. So if they are able to find your review platform, whether it's on Google, and I know that we're going to talk about those things, or Yelp, and they see all your customers raving about what great sessions they had and the experiences, if they find one keyword in there that they're looking for specifically, they're hooked. They're ready to hand over their credit card. And those are those things that you are setting up a foundation. And I have to say that there are so many different pieces of growing a business, but you're setting up that organic traffic for that audience that is actively looking. They're very green, ready to purchase. And now you are letting your customers do that work for you to help build your business. And also, these are huge platforms, and we're going to talk about SEO, I believe, in this episode, that these have huge domain authority. So if you could set these up, it's only going to help with people that are searching.
Yeah, and I believe that everybody now is a researcher.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And I know any time I'm making a purchase or a large purchase, I've been looking into a sectional sofa. And first thing I do is go to the review.
Yep.
And not only that, I make sure I sort by latest.
Yes.
Because a lot of the reviews will deliver up what that review site wants you to see.
Yep.
And so my first thing is I cut through that and I go to I want the latest.
Same.
And so, is that stuffing, not working in the sofa, and is it cheaply made? Is the frame sticking you in the back? Anyway.
Yeah.
But it's the same with online. I think if someone was looking into a studio, where are they looking?
Online. And especially with what you're saying with the reviews and the relevancy of them. I mean, over the years, we've heard about people paying for reviews. Oh, these companies that I feel like online people try to give them bad raps, but still people go there. People are smarter, in my opinion, when they want to purchase something. Audiences are much more willing to do the work to make sure that what they are investing, their hard money, into whatever they're purchasing, they want to make sure that it is going to be well spent. So do these free things. Like that's I think the crazy part of it. We're talking about free platforms to market your business.
Yeah. So, I mean, the big one we think about is Google.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, that's really the mammoth one out there, right?
Yeah. I did a YouTube video about setting up Google reviews and also Yelp. I think I did it 3-4 months ago, and I was so jazzed about it. I was like, oh man, this would be so helpful for people. And it bombed on YouTube. Nobody watched it. And I was so happy because I realized, I had been slacking in these areas. And I went through the process of setting up Google reviews, and it's so easy. And all of a sudden, if you were to search Kips or you were to search Tyler Valencia Fitness, automatically it shows up. And I think that is one of those pieces that people think, oh, it's just not for me. I don't need to do that. But as we're talking about, and more a common theme of this whole episode will be, is audiences will look you up. Are they able to find you?
Yeah.
And Google, the big dog of all of them, if you have the ability to take advantage of something that Google is handing you over, basically a free pass to list your website, your social media, you need to take it. And what I like about Google reviews is how you can connect your Instagram, Facebook in terms of they have spots when you're setting it up that you can list all these different accounts so that if somebody maybe has a similar business name, a similar name that you're using, not only do you show up, but all your specific accounts will show up. So the example that I mentioned before, if you were to search Tyler Valencia Fitness, not only does it have my specific accounts, but all what's showing up is related to those on the search query on the left-hand side. So it's free. I just can't stress that enough.
And notice, folks, what a good marketer he is. He has dropped Tyler Valencia Fitness. Name dropped that like 10 times.
I had to find an example.
I'm just teasing. So one of the things we do with automations, because I love automations for studios and all the tools that we have, but when someone is on an intro offer or if they're a new member and the data is showing that they are coming a lot, we definitely make sure that there's an automation in there that says, give us a Google review with an easy link to.
Oh yeah, that type of automations and asking for those was kind of odd. And I don't understand this part of it from review platforms. There has been almost a action taken by them to really try to stop businesses from asking for reviews. It's very odd in my opinion.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
To start this year, there was emails sent by Google saying how you shouldn't be.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very odd. And to start the year, a bunch of businesses were very upset because they had lost a lot of reviews, myself as included, for Kips and for for Tyler Valencia Fitness. The reviews just disappeared. Ones that I was getting from clients. And I think a part of it, they were trying to see which ones were real, which ones weren't. But I think that type of action from them, it is odd, but you need to find that system of what is it that you're going to reward them for. I think that we're talking about setting this up. Great, fantastic. Okay, how are you going to promote the reviews? Whether it's through automation, what is that process? After how many weeks are you going to send over a Yelp request or a Google review request? Finding those systems that you think, okay, after somebody finishes 4 weeks of sessions with me, then I want to have that automation set up, and you can use things like MailChimp or any other type of email automation system that can have those things ready to go. Boom, send it over. And then what is then you're going to be your reward? What are you going to give them as a thank you? Because I think you should, whether it's 10%, 50%.
Yeah, tell me about that.
For Kips, what I do, it's part of my email drip system. When somebody signs up for one of our online courses, their first email is a thank you. Thank you for supporting our small business, purchasing a course. And then after a few weeks, they get sent here are ways to save on your next course.
Okay.
And there's 3 different options on there, whether it is a Google review, a Facebook review, and what type of discount they will get. But I think that those types of thank yous, because when somebody gets asked for a review, I mean, are they going to do it in their free time?
Yeah.
Maybe.
For a yoga studio, that could be something like a logoed sweat towel or water bottle. Or,
Yeah, something very easy, and people love that kind of stuff. Come on, people love giveaways.
For sure. Well, you just mentioned Yelp. So we talked about Google and Yelp. So I'm in Canada. I feel Yelp had a moment here. I feel it's just kind of not on the scene here. But when I go to California, it's Yelp still everywhere. Some of my friends are Yelp ambassadors for reviewing restaurants. So it still feel like it's quite a big deal there. I remember as a studio owner not having any control though over, I remember feeling like they put me on Yelp without me really wanting to be on Yelp. And that's what this is a long time ago now. And then I felt like you have no control over reviews, and it's just like it can be a scary thing we'll get to negative reviews later on, but so I'd love to talk about the different types of platforms.
Let me touch on the Yelp piece of it, because I feel like one of the things that a business owner will sometimes feel almost obligated, whether it is with Yelp or with Google reviews, that they feel like they have to purchase something. And I will say right now that in all my years of being a business owner, I have never purchased advertising with Yelp or with Google. That's just part of their system, their protocol. They're going to hound you, call you, email you, ask you to set up XYZ with one of the representatives, but you do not have to.
Yelp used to be hard sell. I'm not sure if they still are, but they used to be really hard sell. And you'd ask to be taken off the list and you'd never get taken off the list.
Can you please take me out? Yeah, sure, we'll do that. No. Let's call them back. But yeah, don't ever feel like you have to purchase.
Yeah. So can you think of any other platforms other than Yelp and Google?
I feel like those are the two big dogs. I do use Facebook reviews.
Yeah, the Facebook reviews, yeah.
I don't think Trustpilot is really valid in my opinion. I know that in my fitness education space, I see some businesses that try to push their Trustpilot score, but I think just from my own experiences with researching and purchasing things that Trustpilot will say, hey, have fantastic reviews.
Yeah.
That Trustpilot, they can delete reviews. And I've had to go through that with them. I had a bad experience with buying, I think it was an anniversary gift. And I wrote a negative review on Trustpilot for this company. And after probably like 10 months, the company, they had applied to have it removed. And I had to put all this information in about my purchase because they were trying to get it removed.
Oh, wow.
So I think that is a little bit lower down, but I wouldn't discount Facebook reviews. If your audience, if your niche is on Facebook.
Yeah, especially if you're in the 40 plus age group,
100% agree.
Hey champs, let's talk about behind the scenes hustle of running your yoga business. If managing your studio feels like a balancing act, it's time to check out our sponsor, Offering Tree. This all-in-one business platform handles website building, bookings, client management, and marketing workflows to help and add and retain more clients to your studio. Yoga Biz Champ listeners get 50% off the first 3 months or 15% off annual plans via the link in the show notes or by going to offeringtree.com/Yoga Biz Champ podcast. Studio plans start at just $100 a month and include a supportive community plus bi-monthly coaching calls with myself. Offering Tree isn't just a software, they are your studio business partner. Let's switch a little bit to search.
Ooh.
Well, you and I had a little bit of chat about advertising the other day, and you told me that you had, because I'm dabbling in some advertising right now on Meta, and you said you do that, but you put more emphasis on SEO. And so I'd love to talk a little bit about that and where business owners can improve their online search ranking.
Yeah, I have to start off with this part of it by saying that everything we've talked about before directly applies to what we're going to talk about now with SEO.
Yeah.
Getting your website linked from a very highly authoritative site like Google reviews or Yelp, huge benefit. So taking that time to do those very free basics, huge. But when I think about SEO, first I always have to say how it's so many pieces. Search engine optimization is so many pieces.
Yeah, I was just about to say that because some people are going to be like, what's SEO?
Yeah.
How to get found on Google, basically.
It is how to get found on Google. And there's a lot of different theories on if you're on page 1, page 2, how to get there. And depending upon how much time you have to invest into SEO, I think personally you should have a weekly schedule of, okay, this week, or I'm going to consistently try to put 2-3 hours into my SEO work. That's what I personally do. Blog strategy is one of the very popular ways to do that.
Yeah, when you say that, like, I'm going to put 2 or 3 hours into work. First of all, studio owner's going to go, oh my God, I don't have 2 or 3 hours. But can you explain what kind of work you just said about blog posts? Because for a studio, it's going to be very location specific more than online, right?
So what I use, and I think that small businesses can adopt a version of this, is I call it YouTube-centered digital marketing. So essentially I create videos for YouTube that then go into my blog on the KIPS website, and I've done this with my other businesses as well. And then I'm writing a very keyword-rich description that Google likes, And then after that, and this is where I think that yoga studio owners could utilize this, is that then I'm blasting out to my newsletter list. So my audience, to keep them engaged, keep them knowing that still there.
To keep coming and reading it.
Yep, that they are going to the website, which then can be pulled by any type of marketing service, Meta. If people are coming to your website, that's great for Meta if you are doing paid ads, because then they can find those people that have come in the last 30 days, 180 days, however many that is, and they have that profile then locked into there. But then after that, I also cut these clips up. If you were to go look at the Kip's Instagram channel, you would see little clips from the YouTube videos that I've made, and then I'm linking them to there. And so I use that just because of time-wise. It makes it much more efficient. But with blogs and submitting these to Google.
Yeah, I think the blogs is where it's more relevant to a studio owner, right? Because they could use, so keyword rich, meaning local town name and the word yoga studio.
Yes. Yeah, and especially if, and this is where Google is very smart. And just one takeaway here, if you do not have something called Google Search Console set up, I would highly recommend setting that up. It's a free tool. You could link into your sitemap so that Google knows all the pages on your site, and then it's pulling information from that. It's pulling the headers. It's pulling all this data from your website. And then whenever you create a new blog page, you're basically submitting it to Google to say, hey, here's this new page. Please crawl it so that their bots can go and look at the page, pull out all the information, and see if whenever somebody's searching for something related to it, if your post comes up in an area, it's definitely beneficial there. So that is one takeaway, definitely.
And then you can do that also on the Google business listing page as well, like keeping that updated with articles, photos, which I think a lot of people kind of set it up and then forget about that listing page of updating it.
Yeah, and I would test it too. I would take the time to go see what are your competitors doing? Go see what type of photos are being uploaded. I think that's a great example there. If you were, I'm just going to use an example from my area, like let's say personal training, that if you were to search your city personal training, what is your competitor? What does their Google page look like?
Where do they come up?
Exactly. Where do they come up? Where do you come up? And what are those photos? Because if they are gaining a lot of reviews, maybe you need to change up the type of angle, or if you are asking clientele to submit photos to Google, those are all valuable pieces for you to think about on a weekly basis to just go, okay, this week I'm going to ask Susie in this session if she could just take a couple pictures. She's always been very helpful for me. I want her to stand right here. This is what I'm trying to do. Give them some direction. Boom. And all of a sudden you got some extra photos on your Google page.
Yeah. We actually, in the yoga studio team world, we tried to set up a Google Drive where teachers in the class can take some photos and client testimonial kind of things and throw them into the collective drive so that the owner can post them out.
Great idea.
Yeah. What's some of the common mistakes with their businesses make with their online presence, and how can that be avoided?
This is a good one. And this was one that I was actually very happy because I wanted to be able to provide a specific example for the yoga community. I come from a different part of the health and fitness spectrum, but I definitely wanted to find something that was relevant to hopefully, if you are in this area, that helps you out. And so I think it is staying up to date with consumer trends. And I'm going to tie this back to blogs and marketing.
Yeah.
But before we logged on to do this session here, I saw this question. I said, oh man, this is a tough one for me. And I opened up Instagram, and immediately I saw this reel from somebody that's in my space, the fitness education space. And they were sharing a reel from a yoga presenter for an education company. And this instructor, and I'm not trying to be mean or call them out, even though I'm about to say they're wrong. They were saying how we are taught to not be in tune with our bodies. And when I heard that, I immediately, because I just had seen an article about this, about wearables, but also how consumers are so much more in tune with their bodies these days.
Yeah.
Because you think about it, I wear a Whoop band. A lot of people have iWatches.
Yeah.
There's Fitbit. That is one of the biggest consumer trends.
Data.
Exactly. Of the last year, 2 years, is how much more in tune consumers are with their body because they like that kind of stuff. They like to know their sleep data. They like to know information about their heart rate and information about their steps, all the basics of those. But there is so much in-depth information in these apps. I mean, I did a review on my Whoop band a few months back, and there's so much in there that you could spend hours. So the mistake is not staying up to date with consumer trends, because that then goes into the content that you are creating for your blog. That an easy post that relates to this one is, how do you take the data from your wearable, whether it's an iWatch or a Whoop band, to create a blog post? How do you take that data to your audience and say, hey, here is how you analyze that data. How did your session go? What were those peaks and valleys in our session, so that you know what's challenging for you? And maybe if there was a hard session that impacted your sleep after, what can you do with that information to hopefully improve your performance in your next session within the studio?
I've always been, I get on these kicks of closing my rings on my Apple Watch, but I also used to, when I was teaching in the studio, I would say with all the people with the watches, hey, everybody start your watches.
Yeah.
Like, let's record this workout,
Yeah.
and take a look at your heart rate afterwards. And
it's an obsession for a lot of people. And I get it. It's great data.
Hey champs, I want to spotlight our podcast sponsor and someone I consider both a friend and a trusted expert, Mitch McGinley from Boutique Fitness Brokers. He's been on my podcast multiple times. He's a former yoga studio owner just like us. Mitch and his wife successfully sold their studio just like I did, and now he helps others do the same. So if you've heard my conversation with Jill Agonias on this podcast, she sold her studio for well over asking price thanks to Mitch's guidance. Whether you're thinking about selling your yoga studio for top dollar, or you're looking to buy an existing studio, and let me tell you, that can be a great head start instead of building from scratch. Mitch is your go-to guy, seriously. He understands the ins and outs of the yoga industry, from valuation to finding the right buyer or seller. Plus, he's been right where you are, so he gets it. I'm always talking about building a profitable business that can be sold or carried on. My former studio is in its 22nd year now, and it's under its third owner, and I consider that a legacy. So if you want to explore your options for buying or selling, head over to yogabizachamp.link/BFB to book a no obligation chat with Mitch himself. And trust me, it's never too early to start planning for your yoga studio's future success. Again, that's yogabizchamp.link/BFB.
To have.
Yeah. When you're talking about that, it's also about how online things change too, as well, right? So one of the mistakes I think is people are posting like they used to 3 years ago.
100%.
And I think things have changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Online. We talked about this on your podcast, but the glossy post, that used to be, sign up for this $59 special, all branded and click the link in the bio kind of stuff. I think is it's there, but I think it's way better to have somebody speak to the camera saying the same thing.
Speak to the camera to show your personality. That's what we were talking about. Being able to speak to the camera, be authentic.
Authentic, yeah.
And I'm going to throw in the piece of entertain your audience. I think that is one of the biggest pieces, is that some people view social media as an escape to be able to just, I've had a hard day. I'm just going to sit on the couch. I'm going to scroll through.
Your channel.
And I'm about to post something today that has nothing to do with fitness. There are pieces of me exercising in this reel, but it's for entertainment purposes, because I think that is what people want. So if you can connect with them, because I'm sure people that are in the workout space, yoga space, if you can entertainment, that is a a conversation topic for the next time you see them. Or maybe if they are a new customer and they see something like that, they're like, oh my goodness, that is so funny. That is me. I want to come to this studio now.
Yeah. One of my good studios, she's been on the podcast, Samantha from Yoga Strong. She just did a fantastic reel. Honestly, it was perfection. But she's like, first thing was, and there's someone peeking through the studio windows. Before anybody joins us, we quite often see them peeking through the studio windows. And then the door opens and like, we're very welcoming. Come on. Like, it was just perfection. But, she just caught a little bit of comedy of like, I used to sit teaching facing the door and seeing people do this. Like, they might do that 10 times before they walk through the doors. But I mean, it was she did a great little kind of comic piece on a real thing that people are scared of walking through the studio the first time.
And some of the best accounts that I see that are in the health and fitness space that are doing more comedy reels, they're consistent with it and they're not afraid to miss on one. Let's say that it's not as funny or they didn't get as many likes, as much engagement. At least they did it, that they put themselves out there, which I know is a hard piece. And you can't expect all of them to be winners. Yeah. I mean, the reel that I posted earlier in the week, I thought it was a fantastic reel of me setting up my workouts.
2 hours editing it and getting the sound right.
I threw it into Premiere Pro. I knew what song I wanted to put on it, all that kind of stuff. And I mean, I think it had like 400 views. I was like, oh, that's it? Like, I thought this was a great one. And I'm sure the one that I'm going to post today, it's more comedy based. So I feel like more people might be inclined to click on it, but you can't be afraid of what the outcome is. You just got to get in that rhythm.
You just have to put it out. You got to do it. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. This is a biggie. Responding to reviews.
Oh,
I mean, negative review, I know my thoughts on it, but, people, not everybody's going to jive with the studio or the experience might have gone off. Mm-hmm. And I know I try to be a little bit more conscious now of not just being pissed off and posting a review, but also posting when I've had a fantastic experience, which I think we don't think about as much, but I see some studio or some people are real masters at responding to reviews.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the profile that you don't want to, in my opinion. And I'm going to say this because I've seen a variety of business owners that go I'm going to call you a troll. I'm going to just berate you for having an opinion about my business. And those stick with you. They stick with me. I can name a restaurant right up the street from where I live that the owner responds to every negative review, trying to call them out, be mean to them. And I can tell you that I don't ever want to go to that restaurant again. And those are the ones that they stick with you, but also they're ones that you feel like, why is that a place I want to be with? That you're in that mindset of instead of being in the mindset of, I'm going to take this. I am the business owner. I have to respond to this. And I'm going to also take this advice because I think that is the bigger thing in this day of age is that business owners don't take the advice from consumers. You might think that they're wrong. Oh, they don't know what's going on a day-to-day. I'm a business owner too. I know the weaknesses. I know where I need to improve. And I was just talking with my wife yesterday about this, about how I used to point out with a friend, people, they're just so entitled. They think that they want things just the red carpet rolled for them out all the time. And then yesterday we had a negative experience at a business. And I'm like, am I becoming that person now? That I think that need the red carpet rolled out? But in truth, I think that customer experience is not as highly valued or taught.
Yeah.
If you can take the criticisms and improve upon them, I think that you are putting yourself in a business space that people will notice. What I appreciate, thank you for responding so quickly. Oh, wow. Like, thank you for handling that so quickly. Because in my mind, that's a signal that this customer is used to getting bad customer service. Yeah. They're used to not being responded to. And if you can be that business owner that teaches it, that preaches it, that works on it, you're going to be in a different level, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think answering head on, right?
Yeah.
Like really acknowledging, perhaps apologizing.
Yeah.
We'll make up for it. But I've also seen some studio owners going, Thank you, but we have no record of you attending our studio.
That is another one. I can't say that that doesn't happen, that people sadly will try to hurt their competitors, which is unfortunate. I've always preached about you got to stay focused, locked in on what your own task. If you're worrying about your competition and you're taking that effort to try to bomb them with reviews, you're taking away time from the day-to-day stuff. But you are right that sadly that does happen.
Yeah. We were just talking about posting and social media. How is that changing searchability now? Because we're mostly focusing on posting on social, but people are mostly kind of searching on web.
Yeah, that ties directly into, I believe, what we're talking about with reviews, because I know that I'm going to use a restaurant example here because people would consider my wife and I were foodies. And when we are going to go try a restaurant, we'll search them and then...
Are you a Yelp review ambassador?
I used to be. I didn't get it this year. I didn't write enough reviews last year, but I was for a few years.
I called it.
Side joke here is that whenever my time comes, when I'm done, like somebody needs to monetize my Yelp bookmark list. I have bookmarked the restaurant shows and whatnot, and I bookmark them all the time. But to get back to our episode with this is... how does the social media fit into with reviews and searchability? Think about it. If somebody is searching for a restaurant or a business and then they see their social media options there, I'm going to go back to the restaurant example, and they click on them. I will often do this. I'll click on the Instagram, and I want to go see what the food looks like because maybe I want to see, oh, that plate looks good, or, oh, that looks fascinating. And if they are staying active with it, that's a leg up. I can use the same example I was looking for a food truck vendor recently, and I was searching first on Facebook, on Meta. I went to a very popular group in my area. I typed in taco truck vendor, and I saw all the ones there, and then I was clicking on them, and I was looking at their different Facebook pages, and the overwhelming majority of them were not there were posts from years back, but the ones that were, that I was like, oh, wow, I'm going to put this one on my list to come check out further. They were posting regularly, posting on Instagram, posting on Facebook, responding to reviews. And those are things that we talked about with the theme of this. Consumers are much smarter these days. They're going to look at those things.
I think we've talked a lot about Google search, which is still a big thing, but there's an interesting thing changing now, I think, as well, which is a lot of people are using AI or ChatGPT to search or research information. So I think the other thing is when I go to a city, when I'm traveling, I mostly go search TikTok because I'm going to get 30, 60-second bites of best restaurants, best food, best locations. Like I found that TikTok research for locations is really, but anyway, I feel like people are searching through platforms as well. So, but I think you still, like what you're saying is they all have to connect.
They all have to connect.
Right? Because people are going to jump from one thing to another if they're researching you and searching out.
And to tie this all together with it, the searchability of it, I mentioned earlier about if someone was to type in your yoga business, your name of your studio or your own, if you are yourself the brand of it, will your accounts show up? And these platforms, especially Google reviews, if you have that set up, boom. You are that first one that shows up. And that is a common mistake there as well. If I want to throw this one in there, is that oftentimes we have different names, different addresses, pointing at different things. Getting all of those pointed to the same spot. If you're a studio, making sure that your website has the address, your Yelp, your Google reviews, your Instagram, your Facebook, all that has exactly the same address. If it's a north, if you typed in N on one and north on the other, or you misspelled your street name, make sure, go through those platforms and just make sure that each single one is the same one so that it all meshes together.
That brand shows up.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yoga Biz Champ, when you search that now, all the different podcast platforms also post up for me, SOE-wise, right?
Site authority,
Yeah, and same for you as well. Thank you so much, Tyler. It's been a great conversation, and I love geeking out with you. And I'd love to know something most people wouldn't know about you.
Oh, that wouldn't know about me? That's a hard one. You put me on the spot. You gave me all the other questions, but now you throw one that
I actually did give it to you. You didn't read the bottom of the email.
I thought it was going to be the yoga pose, and I actually came prepared for that one.
I'm going to ask you that one too. On the spot, anything that most people wouldn't know about you?
That I used to play the bass guitar. I think that's one. Because when they see it sometimes if I'm like scrolling around my office, like for a reel or something or in a story, they see it in the background. They're like, oh, I didn't know that you play the bass. I was like, yeah, I used to. I'm trying to get into it. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, there we go. That was a good one.
Good one. What's your favorite business tool, website, or app?
Right now, it has to be Google Search Console.
Yeah, okay.
Because that has actually influenced how I have actually unlisted pages or how I've tried to shift the search queries for KIPS and so better understanding what people are searching and how they're finding the website. So very valuable for that, but seeing the trends within it and also pages that are not currently being indexed.
Yeah.
So basically that they're not being listed on Google and searchable.
Yeah. So kind of reviewing how you're showing up.
Very powerful tool that's free.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure I give a free one there.
Yeah, great. What's your go-to website or app for fun? What's your chill? I go to Macintosh websites and read all the latest geeky news. That's my chill every day.
It'd have to be Instagram.
Yeah.
I usually joke about that if I am friends with somebody, it most likely means that I send you funny reels. And my wife always laughs how like late at night before, like when I'm winding down, she'll just hear me like laughing to myself in our bedroom. And it's just scrolling. Like I'll just go on the Explore feed. I'll find one funny reel and I'll just keep going. And I'll send it to the people.
Well, and it learns what you like, right? And then just delivers you up 10 times more of that.
Yeah. And that's why I keep saying how you want to entertain your audience. If they are entertained, they're going to follow you.
100%. All right. The one we've been waiting for. If you were a yoga pose, which would you be and why? And you're not a yoga teacher.
I'm not. And
so I'm super curious.
I will say that I do a routine 2 to 3 times per week. I call it stretching for performance, but they're all yoga poses.
Yeah, yeah.
I would say my favorite has to be a forward fold.
Yeah. Especially for guys, hey?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. Tight hips, hamstrings.
Exactly. So, see, I came prepared for that one. I was like, it's very basic, but it is my favorite one. I started off each time with it.
Yeah. It does everything. Low back, spine, hips, hamstrings. There's a lot that goes on in a forward fold for sure. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it just releases it. I hold it for 2 minutes, move to my next move. And, but again, always starts with the forward fold.
Awesome. And where do people find you?
Instagram would be the best spot because there is my link tree in there that has links to my YouTube for both my companies, KIPS and for Time to Train, and my workout channel. But that is _ Tyler, Tyler, Valencia, and then another underscore after that.
Awesome. We'll put it in the show notes too. And your website?
For fitness education, it is kipsonline.org. And that is where we sell online fitness education that is pre-approved with a lot of the big organizations in the States. But got the blog there, a lot of great resources if you are teaching online and you are a yoga instructor. I put a lot of effort in 2020, 2021 with putting out resources, whether it's audio interface, microphones, cameras, lights, things along that nature that if you are in that area, hopefully can help you out.
Great. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Thank you, Michael, for having me on. I really enjoy it.
Thanks for tuning in, champs. If you've enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe and leave a review. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're ready to open your own studio or grow your current one, visit yogabizchamp.link /podlink. Again, that's yogabizchamp.link yogabiz.com/pod link to book your free strategy call with me and explore my Starter Studio and Grower Studio packages. And you'll also get access to all of my free Yoga Biz Champ resources there. And you can also check out the video content on YouTube for more insights and follow me on all social media platforms at Yoga Biz Champ. See you next time.